Hi guys. Today we have a nice meeting with founder of Phoenix and entrepreneur Billy McFarland. Um, I don't think he needs much introduction. Pretty famous. So Billy, thank you for being on with us today.
Thank you, Oren. It's great to meet you. Super
Yeah,
excited to have the chance to be here to speak to Honduras and share our plans for Phoenix, which is coming up next weekend.
yeah. So Billy, why Utila?
Utila was a really surprising love of the Phoenix team and mine. We were dragged here by the arm by a local hotelier who I had known in New York over 10 years ago. He convinced us to come. And when we Googled Utila, we had really low expectations for the island. We just didn't think it was going to be someplace we liked. And we all came here. We left, and the day after, we get on a group call, and we're like, "Can we go back to Utila? That place is amazing." So there was just something about the raw energy and magic of Utila that you can't create, you can't fake, and the island just has that it factor, and it was a huge shock to all of us.
Yeah, and with the upcoming, the way it's growing and everything else, so people know where it is too. So it's getting out there because of all of the dive community and all of that. So it's a pretty people have heard about it and stuff before now. Maybe 5 years ago it wouldn't have been so popular, but so that helps you out a lot. What appealed to you the most when you arrived, since you sound so excited about it?
I think it's kind of this natural sense of adventure that Utila has. Even the simple fact that there are no cars for, pedestrians, that you have to have an ATV or a dirt bike or a tuk-tuk. The reefs are amazing. The water is great. I also think the Utila Keys make the island super unique. And the fact that there are these virgin, keys or islands so close to the mainland of Utila, which has the infrastructure, it almost creates like perfect ground for adventure and really for a weekend long festival.
You're doing it on one of those little keys as well, right?
Yes, so we're doing the main event on Saturday, December 6th on Diamond Key. And then on Friday and Sunday before and after the event, we have various events all across the main island of Utila. So yeah, excited to show people everything that made us fall in love with the area. And we think that we're going to give a couple hundred people an experience that they'd never had in their lives before.
All right, so great. So what did captivate you at Utila?
So many venues for events or festivals or weekend excursions, they're really predictable. And you're stuck inside this box or the same template, and everything kind of feels the same. What I like most about Utila and the Utila Keys for Phoenix specifically is that this is unlike any other concert or event that any of our customers or guests will ever have been to. I think it's a perfect, breeding ground for adventure. The fact that you have to get on an ATV to go to a water taxi to get to Diamond Key, where there's not really much there, but you could jump off the dock in the middle of French Montana performing and go and snorkel is really, really cool. And it's going to lend itself to a moment that lasts beyond just this weekend, but hopefully is a historical moment, both for my team and for the island as well.
I'm on the island of Roatan right across from it, so it's a little. We also jump a little further over there as well. So we gotta get a
Yeah.
ferry to Utila and then do all the other things you just mentioned.
But even
So
the ferry, I think that's important to mention. When you hear ferry, particularly as an American, you think of a pretty dumpy experience. The ferries here are super nice. They're
yeah,
fun. The water is gorgeous. There's a bar. They move fast. Like it kind of has this like luxurious vibe to that ferry experience. And that's the
yeah,
opposite of what I expected hearing ferry coming from the US. So I really like for the US people watching this to understand that the ferry itself is like makes this really unique and it's fun to go on.
yeah. Especially with Dream Ferries, that's the one that goes to Utila. That started going to Utila. Both of them go now, but that's the one that has the bar. That's the one you're talking about. It's really really nice. That's definitely the one you want to do. So yeah, it's convenient. It's nice. They got the ferry coming from the mainland and from Roatan. So if you fly into the mainland or you fly into Roatan, you can get there pretty easily.
The Dream Ferries is also doing a giveaway for some Phoenix tickets too on their Instagram. So
Ah,
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
Yeah.
they've been great.
I kind of know all the concept and everything, but I know this one's a little different. Can you walk us through the concept of the festival and what makes it unique?
Definitely we feel welcomed, and I think that's been one of the best parts of this whole experience is the community has been great. And whether it's a utilitarian who works in a restaurant or who drives a tuk-tuk or who has a fruit stand, I think they've been really open to, hosting us, providing their services and welcoming us. So that's been great. I think what makes us different is that we have 11 international artists that we've announced, and it's only 400 guests. A lot of these artists, they perform in larger concert halls or even in arenas around the world. So to be there with your feet in the sand with just 400 other people to listen to 11 artists, I think doesn't happen very often. And also the fact that you are literally on a private island on Saturday and then on Utila for the rest of the weekend, where you can go for a hike, you can see the underwater caves, you can see, in my opinion, what's the best coral reef in all of the Caribbean. That makes us different from every other festival and event.
Definitely the best coral reef. Yeah. So you mentioned all the artists that are coming and everything. How do you convince French Montana? How did that happen? That's pretty exciting.
I think all the artists are excited about the unique aspect of what Phoenix is trying to do, where the music is the climax of it, but there's so much else that goes into what makes a day unique in terms of like the diving, the snorkeling, the adventure, the water taxis, etc. I also think that the artists are excited to be part of a moment that goes down in history. So I think it's historic for Utila, but it's also historic for us in the US. The entire event is being covered for a documentary being done by Miami Films and Think Global Films. And we have high expectations for where that's going to be aired. Miami and Think Global are also doing a live stream pay-per-view of the event. So I think a lot of the artists see the longevity component of this, where everything is being captured and recorded, and we expect people for years to kind of come back and watch what happened and what electrified Utila for a long weekend.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be unforgettable, pun intended. Uh,
Yeah.
well, as we know, small island, small infrastructure. What are you doing to make sure it runs smoothly from beginning to end? Because I'm sure you had to do a lot of moving parts to get it to where it's at. I mean, there's a lot of infrastructure you got out there and everything. So,
So I've been here for 2 months with the core team, and I think that was the big difference from the events in the past. The full and sole focus for all of us right now is on this Phoenix event. We have no other priorities. It's just making sure the event happens. And we have done an over plan for everything from transportation to generator systems to communication to weather. We've really put a global production package together for a really, really small event with only 400 people. So we're treating this as if it's a massive production, understanding that our group coming is really small, and we have redundancies and backups and contingency plans for everything. And a lot of this has been working with great local providers. We have a great company from Roatan who's doing all the catering and food. We're excited for that. We have a local utilitarian family providing the water taxis. We have a utilitarian contractor who's basically been leading all the construction, and he's probably been the MVP or the all-star of the group so far. So we really tried to dig into the roots here and just get the best experts from every industry to come in and help make this happen.
so what measures are being taken to protect the island's fragile environment?
We take this really seriously. So everything we are doing is in liaison with an environmental specialist that we brought on. All of the materials that we're using, everything is environmental friendly. We don't have a single use anything. So even the cups, the plates, the silverware, that's all reusable. I think it's also important to note that there are only 400 guests. So Utila routinely hosts more than that for Semana Santa in the spring, for Sunjam of the past. So it's not that many people. And I know this is a small thing, but we're all also making a $10,000 US donation to, reef restoration. So doing our best. And I think a lot of this just comes down to educating our guests about how to act, what to wear, what to do, what not to do, and making them respect the reef as much as utilitarians do. So that's a top priority for us to get in front of all of our guests, both before and while they're here.
So, what is the expected attendance? The 400 is what's expected, or is it going to be a little bit less, or are we
We're
sold
we're
out?
we're expecting 400 people. The
Wonderful.
capacity for Diamond Key is actually closer to 1,000. So
Mhm.
we're not trying to max out what we're able to do. We are trying to keep this small, make sure everything is delivered well, make sure everybody stays safe. And then hopefully, as the years progress, we can expand the Phoenix Festival throughout the Utila, Roatan, and all of the keys here.
What are you most excited for at attendees to experience in Utila beyond the festival?
What I'm most excited for is a couple of days after the attendees go back to Miami or New York or Chicago or Los Angeles or wherever they're from, and they get back to their regular lives and they're like, wow, Utila totally exceeded our expectations. I think there's not much education or knowledge outside of the dive community about what Utila, Roatan, and the Bay Islands really have to offer. So I think it's making our guests see and fall in love with what we fell in love with. And I think that's going to be the coolest part when they go back home and realize how special and how magical the people were, the food was, and the whole experience was.
Yeah, definitely. Utila is really unique. I mean, I'm here on Roatan, and sometimes and this is also a small island, just very small. And sometimes I want to get like a different feel, and I go to Utila for the weekend, and it feels like a complete different environment and everything. So I'm sure they will enjoy it a lot.
I'm jealous of a lot of people of Utila. I think they have this satisfaction towards life that is really hard to find in the States. I think in the States, a lot of us, and me included, we're stuck in this rat race where we're always looking for more and always trying to do more. And I think people here are happy, complacent, satisfied. They have big families, and it's really kind of this super seductive and attractive lifestyle that they've developed here. And I think that's going to open the minds of a lot of our guests when they come and experience this familial culture and vibe of Utila.
Yeah, yeah. From speaking to you, I can tell that you've enjoyed the experience and everything on Utila. Will there be any plans to probably get something going again like this in Utila, or will it depend on how it works out and everything?
Absolutely. We're already looking at dates for the next one. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we want to make sure everybody really enjoys the first one that we deliver to the community. But once we do that, we will be growing and hosting Phoenix here, hopefully for the years to come.
Wonderful, wonderful. How are you ensuring security and the emergency response plans are fully in place when all of the 400 people are on there and everything?
We're working with a professional security team that has event experience. So that's the biggest thing here is safety for our guests. We're also working with the Red Cross, who are bringing in from the mainland of Honduras and hosting here. We have a couple of doctors we brought in separately to work with the Red Cross. We'll have a helicopter medevac on site for any emergencies that we can't let happen. And we're
Yeah.
coordinating with all the various municipal and national authorities. So we are taking everything seriously and we're approaching this as if it's a 50,000 person event, even though there's only 400 guests. So we're overdoing it just to make sure things go really smoothly for this first one.
You're doing really well.
Yeah, we're doing it.
What do you want the international audience to understand about Utila as a destination?
I think we want people around the world to put Utila on their bucket list of travel destinations. We think this deserves a top 10 spot on anybody's, winter travel plans. And we want people around the world to see that, to realize it, and be excited to come here. And we think that the event, the documentary, the pay-per-view, this is all going to contribute towards that and put Utila front and center in the minds of a lot of people who might not be considering Utila at this point.
Yeah, so I know you're pretty busy trying to get this going and everything. So I'll just ask you one last question before we wrap it up. So, what can you share about the team working behind the scenes to bring the event to life? This historic event to life, I should say.
One thing that we did differently this time that I've been very happy about is we're relying really heavily on Utilians and Hondurans, whether it's for catering, whether it's for water taxis, construction, carpentry, water taxis. We're really taking the advice from the local experts and captains who are here. And that's been awesome. And they tell me no all the time. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job of listening to them. So trying to heed to the local culture. And then our various partners in the US, we have a big partner, Patrick and Miami. They've been great. Think Global, who in collaboration with Patrick and Miami are doing the documentary and the pay-per-view, and my long-term, team from home. So we're excited and we're partaking and we're really taking the advice of all the Utilians and Hondurans who are leading the charge here.
Very, very nice, very nice. Well, I'm really excited to see it come to fruition. And for people here, if you make it late to either Roatan or the mainland to get over on the ferry. There's also Bay Islands air charters. They do so you can like charter it last minute and fly over if you get there late and everything. So make sure everybody gets there to enjoy the time.
Thank you, Oren. I can't wait to see you next weekend.
All right, Billy. Thank you too.
Yep. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.